Right, here I am, Davetheraverovingtherock, and I'm in Whiting Bay at the bottom of Ganasdale Falls. I've got a view across Whiting Bay over to Holy Isle and over the sea to the mainland. I'm at the bus stop where the old youth hostel used to be at the end of Montrose Terrace. That's where it is, isn't it? Yeah. And it's a decent day. It's dry, although there's showers forecast. It's cloudy, but there's little patches of blue about the place, so it's kind of hopeful. It's mild. We're at the end of March. So even if it does rain, it's not going to be too bad. I don't think it'll rain for long if it does.
Showers is all it'll be.
Showers. So today I've got with me Ian Roberts, and he works with me at Caledonian McBrain for his sins, putting people and vehicles on the boat when we have one, and
shut up.
And his the navigator today is Bear. And what kind of dog is
Bear? Is a toy cockapoo.
A toy cockapoo.
Don't be camera shy.
Sometimes called Little Bear as well, isn't he?
Baby Bear.
Baby Bear, that's it.
Not when I've got him.
Baby Bear is the cutest dog. What a dog. Lovely soft fur as well. So he's a navigator. He's come with us and we're going for a walk today. And that's the reason why we're here, because Ian and I have chosen to go from this walk at the bottom of Ganasdale Falls back up to High Kildonan, where we've parked Ian's car. We're going to go one direction and not the other, and we could have gone the other direction, by the way.
Yeah. We
could have started at High Kildonan and come down here, and it would have been almost all downhill.
Yeah. I thought about that.
But we've chosen the harder direction. We're going to go up Giant's Graves with Baby Bear, and it'll be almost entirely uphill. In fact, I think that's about 1,000 foot of incline we're going up there. To High Kildonan. So that's the walk. I had chosen a slightly different walk for today, because yesterday I went walking with Neil May at Lag, and for the first time in my life I discovered a walk right beside where Ian stays, in the centre of Kilmorey, that takes you to the Lag Hotel and past what I'm calling the Lag Rapids.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Where the two converging of the two burns.
That's right, yeah. Two burns. And like a little waterfall at the end of it, just before Lag Hotel as well. I've never been there. Been here, about 39 years now. And I only went there yesterday for the first time. And so same with Neil May, and he's been here for decades.
Well, I lived in Kilmorey for 5 years before I discovered that walk.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's a nonchalant little path, isn't it? Just along from the kind of wee estate there, isn't it? I don't know what you call that estate. Was there? It's like a
Torlin estate, Torlin place.
Yeah, Torlin Terrace. Torlin Terrace. And it's just like a nothing wee path. It's not signed or anything, and it takes you on this cracking wee walk. But you've done that a lot of times, and so we're not doing that. So plus we need a bit of a harder challenge. So I'm going to be doing quite a bit of walking with Ian. So let's introduce Ian here. So, how long have you been on Arran, and where did you come from?
I come from the centre of the universe, Doncaster, when I moved to Arran 32 years ago last month.
Oh, right, 32 years ago. So you've been here
1991 in end of February it was we moved. Supposed to move on Valentine's Day, but the weather was too bad down south, so we had to move.
Oh, you remember that?
A little bit late, yeah.
God, you got a good memory there.
I can remember things a long time ago. I can't remember things I did yesterday.
No. So that's a third of a century on Arran, and so does that mean that you're a local, would you say?
No.
No?
No.
See, I do think I'm a local, 39 years.
No, I was told by a crusty old farmer when I first moved here, I was talking to him about life, the universe and everything, and he turned around to me and says, you know, you'll not be a local, son, till we put you in the ground.
Right.
Well, yeah, okay, but I'll not be a local for a year or two, hopefully.
And how are you finding?
Excuse the accent, by the way.
Well, how many? 32 years, you said, but you still have kept the accent, or a lot of it that you had before.
Although when I go down south, they all say, "Well, you sound like Scottish."
Oh, did
I
so?
don't-
So you're a bit of a mongrel then,
Yeah, yeah.
as we all are, of course.
Of course.
Apart from little
Yeah.
baby bear,
Yeah.
who's not a mongrel.
No, just
That's
a
the
toy
only
cockapoo.
pedigree in the car. And he's been very well behaved, because you know he's keen to go, but he's
Yes.
not actually. He's not been.
Not begging for it.
It's not been too bad there. So how would you say it is living in Kilmorey then?
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. The downside is the travelling. If you're working in Broddick, you've got half an hour's journey in the morning.
It's a long
half
journey,
an
isn't
hour
it?
at night. Yeah, but it's not a bad journey.
It's a nice journey.
Yeah, it could be the M18, M62, A1, A64.
Yeah.
They're not good journeys.
No, this is a nice journey on empty roads. The only thing is you had to watch out for the price of fuel when it was
Yeah.
really expensive, didn't you? Because that becomes a factor when you're...
But the advantage of working for Calmac, I would take the car across once every couple of weeks, fill her up cheap rate, and you'd save 25, 30 pence a gallon. But then it became a narrower gap, narrower
It did.
differential. Mm.
To be fair to the local retailers, I mean, and certainly laterally, they've become very, very competitive, and the prices are
Very
great.
much so.
And I think that might be to do with Scottish Fuels not having a monopoly on iron
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah,
I don't
there's
really know.
competition.
There's competition, because I'm told the price of oil's gone down as well, and you know there's several suppliers now, whereas it used to just be the one supplier. So I think that's really helped. Actually, I've noticed a
Yeah.
big difference with the fuel.
Yeah.
We're much closer than what we
Yeah.
used to be.
Yeah. The last time I went, I think it was about 12 pence difference, which is nothing to what it used to be. And at one point, it was down as low as 9 pence.
Yeah, that's right.
A couple
Yeah.
of weeks ago, so it wasn't worth actually going over hardly.
I remember actually going on the forum on Facebook and congratulating the retailers here for being so close to the cheapest one in Ardrossan, you know.
Yeah.
They did well. So you came in 1991 to Arran,
Yep.
and what decided you to come here?
We've been coming all this since 1985. Loved the place, absolutely adored the place. Looked into a lot of different ways of actually getting here, moving here. Eventually everything fell into place. The actual decision was made for certain. Where we used to live, we had a backyard which had an access road at the back of it, and then a lawned garden. And my two boys were out playing with the toys. We called them in for the tea.
Yeah.
They guzzled the tea down, went back out to the toys, and every toy had gone. Every toy had
Oh,
gone.
someone nicked all their
Yeah.
toys?
And
Oh,
somebody
right,
had seen
okay.
a white van driving up and down, didn't recognise it, and we just all we can assume is that it was filling everything it could from gardens
Right,
and taking them.
right.
We had the police round, and they just said, not a lot we can really do. We'll try, we'll investigate, but they couldn't do anything. And that was when we finally decided that we had to make the move.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I brought my kids up here, and the one thing I would say, possibly the very best thing about Arran, I mean, I was brought up in Glasgow at school in the 70s. A completely different experience from the one bringing the kids up here. They finished school here, and when they finished, I actually said to both of them, you just never came to me and said you had a problem at school. I always told you I'd sort out any problems you would have. You've never come to me. And both of them came back with the same answer at the end of it. We just didn't have any. They didn't have any problem with bullying or fighting or anything like that. There just wasn't. It was just a great school to go to, really great, to be honest. It was a wonderful place to bring your kids up.
Fantastic.
And the freedom that they enjoyed when they were young, they could go on a bus and just phone me when they got to their friend's house or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
And thinking about it, I've taken that for granted because I've been here so long. I'm told kids just can't go anywhere on their own in the mainland, you know.
No, they can't.
I'm like an
You
alien.
wouldn't dare. You wouldn't dare let kids out on their own. You wouldn't.
No, so it's a different world here. They've got freedoms here that they can't have over there. I actually completely agree with you. I think that's probably the best reason to come here, just for your kids if you can do it.
Yeah.
You know.
They've all moved away now, like, but that's
Yeah, well, it's part of the parcel
Yeah.
of the place, isn't it? Mine both went away to university, but one came back, and that's unusual. But I helped her a bit when she came back to get her own place, and to be honest, that's really the only way that they can do that.
Well, that's the trouble that now we've got this property market on our own that young kids can't afford to buy anyway.
And there's nowhere to rent at all.
No.
Zero.
No, zero rental.
No, that's right. Okay, so anyway, I'm just rabbiting about that. I want to say one quick thing before I get on to the main story of the day. On the way here, just before I got in the car, there was this little great tit pecking away at my wing mirror. I could hear this like a woodpecker. And so I looked out, and there's this, it's on the wing mirror, just pecking at its own reflection.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it
Mating
was
season.
mating, that's what I thought, right? I don't think it was fighting. It seemed too amorous to me.
Yeah.
That's right, that's right. So, I think it'd fallen in love with itself, you know. And there's nothing wrong with that.
A few folk on Arran that have done that.
That's right. If you can have the confidence, go for it.
Yeah.
You know, good on you. You know. So this great tit had fallen in love with itself, pecking away. And I couldn't, I chased a couple of times to keep coming back to her, right? Even though I put food out and things, not interested. I thought, you're going to wear yourself out with that. So in the end, I put a little plastic bag, this plastic bag actually, just to prove it, was over the wing mirror, right? And then I didn't think about it anymore, got a cup of tea, get ready to come on a walk. I came back out to the car to come and meet you, and there's a great tit on the wing mirror pecking the green bag. Even though it can't see itself anymore.
It knows it's there.
It knows it's there. It knows I've covered it up.
Yeah.
And it's keen. So the only reason it's not doing it now is because the car's moved, and I hate to think what's going to happen when I put it back. I might have to start parking somewhere else.
It's a menagerie of great tits.
Well, I can't cover the mirror up. I don't even know how to stop it.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to genuinely don't know what I'm going to do.
It finds a real one, a mate. So you'd only hope.
So. I hope so. It hasn't done very well so far though. There's a bus going past. Yeah. So the last thing, the main thing I wanted to say here is the reason that we're going for a walk, apart from that you and I both love, we have this shared love of the outdoors, and we've discussed this before, and I'm going to discuss it again properly. But the subject matter here is long COVID, because and again I'll come back to this other thing. You have been, where have you walked before, Ian? You're a keen
lot
walker.
Of places, Lake District, Scotland, Arran, all over, but the main claim to fame, if you like, was Everest Base Camp just over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
The greatest experience you could ever have. It was stunning.
Yeah.
I did all that, and now I couldn't even make it off the aircraft, I don't think, hardly.
No. You went to Everest Base Camp, which is a massive achievement, and you go to Whitby all the time, up and down the Whitby steps and things, and you've been all over the hills and things, but you train hard for this Everest Base Camp, and you did so much walking. It's the love of your life, really. It's your passion, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you got very fit as well, and then COVID came, and so tell me what happened to you afterwards when you caught COVID.
I got COVID. I was tested positive on January the 2nd last year.
2022.
2022. We'd hoped we'd had the vaccinations, etc. So thought we weren't going to get it. Went into work on that morning. Came downstairs, there was a case of COVID on the boat, as I recall. So the boat wasn't sailing with any passengers. We came down, sorted all that out. The boss came through and said he wanted everybody to take a COVID test. I'd taken a COVID test at about 6:15 in the morning before I set off for work. I said I'll be alright, because I took one and it was negative this morning. And he said I want everybody to take one because one of our colleagues had tested positive. So I took the test, and much to my amazement I was positive.
Yeah.
Literally 3 hours after I'd taken a test at home, I tested positive.
Oh, right. Different test,
yeah.
maybe a more effective test or something.
Well, it's basically the same sort of test, but it come out of me so quickly.
Yeah.
I wasn't really ill. I was off for 10 days, and I wasn't really ill. I felt a bit breathless a couple of times. I had some pain in my legs for about an hour. Other than that, I didn't have any symptoms whatsoever.
No. So you got over the COVID, and then you caught long COVID basically.
Yeah.
And how long did it take? Did you know? Did you never recover from the COVID, or did it come back to haunt you?
I'd got odd days when I wasn't feeling so good, but that you get days like that anyway. Well, I've always had days where you just feel a bit under the weather. But a couple of months after I had COVID, I was on the mainland, and I was trying to pick my granddaughter Betsy up, and I couldn't pick her up.
Yeah.
I couldn't lift her. I had no energy, no anything that I could do, and it was then that I knew something was wrong. I was in work the following day, I think it was, and I was out in the car park, and I just couldn't breathe. I couldn't get
remember.
breath.
You got quite scared, didn't you?
I did. And I
went home as well, didn't you?
Went home that day. Got back into work after that, and I was just so tired, tired all the time, and shortage of breath in the morning sometimes and during the day. But it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same every day. It was different.
Yeah, up and down.
Yeah,
roller coaster.
Some days you come and you feel great in the morning, and you feel knackered in the afternoon, and then great in the evening.
Yeah.
Other days you just feel knackered all day. Days you feel all right all day.
Yep. And we've been on one walk already, and you felt great that day, didn't you?
Yeah.
We went up to Loch Garbad, and you were fine. You powered up, no problem.
Yeah. But I've found this is the weirdest thing about the walking at the minute. When I'm going uphill, it's not so bad.
Oh, so we did the right direction then.
Yeah.
We're going uphill.
I
might be better than coming back down.
We were in Whitby last November.
Yes.
And
that's your favourite place, isn't it?
Yeah. I was walking along the beach, and I was knackered. I couldn't get a breath.
Yeah.
I was struggling. But when you come off the beach, you've two choices. You can come back along the beach and go the short way, or you can go up the banking.
Yeah.
Or we'd got the bear, so I wanted to go up the banking.
Yeah.
And I walked up the banking and felt great. I didn't have a problem. I was at the top of the banking in no time, without rushing it.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is really weird. And then I'm walking on the flat again and I can't get a breath.
Yeah.
It's the opposite to what it should be.
It's the opposite way it should be. So, in the end, here we are, a year and 2 months later, and it's like you feel like you're recovering, then it keeps coming back again.
Yeah.
So we're determined to get out walking plenty, and that's the solution. Make yourself strong, force your way through it. You know, through diet and exercise, and do. That's the best that you can do to get that out, basically, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what you're going to do, and you're not going to stop it getting outside.
No, I've taken the decision that I've got to keep on getting outside.
Or you're giving in.
Yeah, regardless of how I feel. I take the bear out. I mean, the other day, I took him out twice in the morning. I did over 10,000 steps, and I think it was about 4.5 miles, 7 kilometres or something, 7-8 kilometres.
Right.
And I was knackered.
Yeah.
Fell asleep in the afternoon, but
you did it.
I'm at that age anyway. I do that anyway.
Well, that's the thing. It's difficult to tell, isn't it? Because we're both similar age here.
Yeah.
And sometimes I wake up in the morning, or quite often, and I'm just a zombie. It's like there's no reason for this. I know I wouldn't have felt like that when I was younger. So, but then again, you think, well, have I got a bit of this long COVID? And I find it difficult to know. I definitely caught COVID, I think twice. I certainly was tested once. But in the end, in a way, it's not worth thinking about too much, because there's no cure for that. You've just got to beat it, haven't you? With determination.
That's what I think.
And I feel the same.
Believe. Yeah. They might come up one day in 6 months, 12 months, 18 months and say, this is what we do. We can treat long COVID, but they're not doing. At the minute, it is just trying to beat it mentally as much as anything.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
And
this is the right time of year to be getting serious about it, isn't it? Because we're in the springtime. Yeah. And when you're at work, I mean, you still struggle with the car park shifts, don't you? With loading the cars and going up and down the car park.
I sort of put that down to maybe the fumes of the cars.
I don't think they do you any favours.
I don't.
So many engines running there. I sometimes feel I'm choking up when I'm in the car park.
Yeah. Well, you see me come in sometimes and I can't get a breath, and I can't stop coughing when I've been outside, and even if I've only been outside for half an hour, 20 minutes, whatever. And I'm like that when I'm in the town centre.
All right.
We were over in Ayr a few weeks ago, and my breathing was heavy and laboured for a while after, just because you walk through a town centre.
Right.
But when you're out in the open air, it's not so bad.
I actually feel sorry for the guys working on the loading deck of the car of the ferry, the car deck, because all the engines are running in there when they're getting ready to leave or when they're loading on, and there's no air in there really.
No,
that must be absolutely filled with fumes.
Especially on the Calais Isles.
Yeah, because there's no open
deck. Which Isle of Arran's got an open deck at the back.
Yeah, but I mean, we've certainly got an open deck insofar as we're in the car park. It's just fresh air, and we still notice it. I notice it as well. Sometimes I feel like that.
Well, I definitely feel it.
I've got asthma, and things kind of get to my chest. I get chesty, and I notice that. I don't think I could cope with the boat car deck.
No, I don't envy them guys.
No, I don't.
No.
That's not easy. I imagine it'd be dangerous as well. We're getting off the subject, but but really, to be honest, you know, These guys are putting up with quite a lot, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
With tight spaces and big lorries and fumes everywhere and stuff like that. I wouldn't
and there's
fancy
nowhere
it.
the fumes to go.
No.
When it's on, that's why they say don't turn your engine on until instructed to do so. I mean, we all do it. We all turn it on as soon as we know we're starting to move. But some people get straight in the car and turn their engine on, and that's chucking out garbage into the air, which people have got to breathe because there's nowhere for it to go.
Yep. That's right. Before we disappear off, I know I've got hundreds of things I could talk about. I'm just not going to do it because I'll just rabbit forever and ever, right? I was at work yesterday and I went in and Catherine turned round to me and she says, this is the power of confusion of conversation, right? And she says, oh, we're going to Paris and I'm just going to show you where we're going. And of course she doesn't mean me, right? But we're going to Paris. And I says, oh, we are we? I says, I don't know if I've actually got, you better tell me the dates. I don't think I've got any holidays booked in the near future. You know, I better see if I can get my holiday form in and get that booked. And I'll get my, I'll also get my my bonnet, my stripy t-shirt and my string of onions ready as well. And she said, what do you need them for? I said, well, we're going to Paris, you know, the French. She says, Harris, it's Harris. I said, wait about it. I've got a bonnet now, and you tell me I need midge repellent and a waterproof. What are you on about? And you're not coming, she says. If I knew that already. You know,
Harris, not Paris.
Paris. I genuinely thought it was Paris, you know. I thought, that sounds nice, Paris in the springtime, you know.
Beautiful.
No, Harris, actually, in honesty, I'd probably prefer Harris, right? I would prefer Harris. But, you know, it doesn't sound so exotic, does it? No. But it would be nicer for you and me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd prefer it. Went to Paris last year, it was nice. Proper Paris.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Right, so I'll just, I think we should probably get on with it. Bear has been amazing. Little Bear, what a good doggy you are. You are just the cutest dog in the whole village. Look at that, you're lovely. Pure black all over, a little tiny bit of grey in the paws there,
and his
a little
paws
bit of
and
white.
his front and his bum.
Oh yeah, and a little tiny bit of grey on his little nose there. That's a cute dog. What a lovely wee thing. And little Bear will be alright with the walk as well, eh?
Oh yes.
Yeah, manage that.
It.
It looks pretty energetic. Okay, we'll get going. We'll see how we're getting on, and I'll maybe put this, get a wee, we'll have a wee talk at the top or something like that, and what we can see. Right. Okay. Right, we've got Bear. Bear's on the table. We've made it up to the viewpoint above Whiting Bay. And on the way up here, Ian was striding, to be fair. It was me that was getting out of breath, if anybody. So you've got good energy. You've got good energy on your uphills, like you said. Yeah. Oh, just getting misty here. And we've been talking otter stories. And I didn't know we were going to do that, but it turns out you've got otter stories. Yeah. 2 otter stories, and I've got 1. But even if I just hear your otter stories, and I won't say not an otter, even once, although not an otter. It's not an otter. No, it's not an otter. Okay, so otter story number 1. This one is from when you were out with Little Bear here.
And just about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Right.
We're out in the morning and took him down to the fields where he always goes and runs, chases rabbits. Never gets anywhere near him, never even attention to getting near him. And this one particular morning, there's a fence down in Kilmore which leads to the beach, and I noticed something coming onto the field, and so did he. Unfortunately, he wasn't on his lead, so I couldn't stop him. So he went chasing after this thing. It was an otter.
Yeah, chasing after an otter in the field.
So the otter's doing its best to get away from him. Of course, he's got 4 legs and he's quite quick. So
yeah, he's fast.
Yeah, I'm at this point having a coronary nearly because I'm chasing them because just the damage an otter could do to this little fella.
Otters would do
tremendous damage.
Yeah, it said this. I reckon the otter would have killed my Westies when we came across. They didn't really know just how dangerous it was. Yeah. It really is quite big as well, an otter. Yeah. Can be.
So I'm out of breath, heart's beating way beyond what it's capable of, I thought. And as I'm chasing the 2 of them, they're running side by side, and they actually were looking at each other.
Side by side galloping?
Side by side galloping, and then
looking at each other.
After probably about 60 yards, the otter went down into the fence and back onto the beach and away.
That was so lucky.
He did have one good story though, because a colleague of ours, Kevin, he put a horse called the Galloping Bear into his each way lucky 15. It finished second at 10 to 1 a couple of days later. So
Galloping Bear.
And he messaged me to say, "I'll back the Galloping Bear because of you galloping
Because of
after
the Galloping Bear with the otter." So that was. I mean, that's quite funny when you think about it, right? The dog and the otter running side by side, looking at each other, and nobody did anything. No. They just ran side by side.
Yeah. And then the otter jumped down into the field and away.
That's amazing.
And I'm just so grateful that nothing.
That was very lucky
between the two of them.
I'll maybe tell it another day, but my otter story was more. Oh, I'll just say it now.
Yeah.
I was at a caravan park at Cooperangus, and the two dogs disappeared round the corner. I had two Westies, Poppy and Polo, and they disappeared round, and so I went round the corner to see where they were, and creeping towards them, facing them was this massive otter, big, longer than the dogs, big, full sized, creeping towards the two Westies, which were just standing and looking at it like that, like interested, and it was going right towards them, like on the prowl, and it was only maybe 2 foot away from them, almost nose to nose, and I thought, it's just going to attack them, that's it. I mean, it might have done what it happened with Bear. I didn't think so. It looked like it was just going into attack mode. It was looking, and the Westies again, like your dog would have put up a fight, but I reckon the otter would have taken him. It was a big, powerful animal, surprisingly big, and I ran at it, and then it looked at me, and it even hesitated. Even when I ran at it, it was just like, "What do you want?" Like that. I just like disdainfully, you know. And anyway, eventually it just slowly turned round and then just walked off, not a care in the world the other direction, didn't even look back at the dogs, not bothered at all. No. Quite confident. Okay, what was your other otter? We were doing otter stories.
It was me and the half and myself, we ran a tea room at the golf club at Sannox.
Sannox, yes, that's right, Sannox, and you were on, was it Fish Friday?
Friday fish and chip night, we were on his way home.
Fish and chip.
Cold, wet, rainy, very, very rainy night in, I think, October. Probably 3 years ago, pitch black. We were driving home along the heights, and Fran let out a yelp, and there was a dum-dum-bum noise from underneath, and she said, "I've killed a cat." She said, "I've actually just run over a cat and killed it," and she was very, very upset. So she stopped, obviously, and I went back to find it. Car came up, parked. It was Dean Coulson, and Fran was saying, "I've just killed a cat. What am I going to do with it?" Dean said, "We'll take it down to Diane at Kirkend, because it was just down the road."
Yeah.
I'm walking back along the road with a tea
towel.
Hiya. Come on. I walked back along the road along the heights with a tea towel to get the body of this poor cat.
Yeah.
And one of them moments in life when I wished I was being recorded. I found the outline of the body, got the tea towel, wrapped it in it, picked up this dead cat.
Yep.
And as I looked down, I saw it wasn't actually a cat, it was an otter.
It was an otter, not an otter.
So I looked at it and said, "You're not a cat." And then he just turned and looked up at me, and I said, "You're not dead either." So, long story short,
got a live otter.
Yeah. Who's just been run over, and we went down. We took it down to Diane's. I never even thought about it. They could quite easily have ripped my fingers off. But it never made a move to me at all.
You took it to Diane Lewis's. Diane Lewis, yeah. Who's got a sign at the roadside that says that she will take in any animal. And no matter what it is, and look after it and bring it back to health if she can. Yeah. She's got a notice at the door, and I think that's just so commendable, because you know that's just clearly out of the goodness of her heart and love for animals. She will take in anybody's animals or anything that's been hurt or just struggling, and you know, or abandoned baby birds or whatever it is. Exactly. You know,
well, our house was full of different things in the outlying areas. We went. Dean was knocking on the door and was saying to her, "We've run over a cat. There's a dead cat coming in." To which I'm following up the pathway, saying, "Dean, it's not actually dead, and it's not a cat. It's an otter." So the next thing, at 10 o'clock on a Friday night, Diane's got this otter on her kitchen units laid out, and it must have been. It must have dropped off unconscious because we didn't know if it was still going to live or die at this point.
Yeah.
And there's a famous scene in Independence Day, the film with Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum, where the alien is laid on the table, and they're about doing all sorts of things. The live one, and it opens its eye, and that's exactly what Otter did on Diane's kitchen table.
Is that right?
Opened its eye and just sort of looked around, and Diane looked after. We called it Rain because of the rain. It was a female as well. We called it Rain because of the rain that was on that night.
Yep.
And Diane looked after her for 9 weeks.
All right. So I loved it. Survived.
It survived. We sent fish round with the donations and that. And there's a video that Diane took. I don't know if it's still available on Facebook, when she released it back into the wild.
Yeah.
And she's saying, if she doesn't want to go, she's not going. If she doesn't want to go, she's not going. I'm not going to force her.
No.
But eventually Rain went off, and Diane saw her a couple of times after that when she came back up. But no,
good story.
That was the 2 otter stories.
We're lucky to have Diane, aren't we? Diane Lewis.
Yeah.
That's it.
But you think about whereabouts on the mainland could that happen to you?
Yeah.
Where you've got otters, and you've got people who take otters in at 10 o'clock at night.
That's it, 10 o'clock at night. Just wonderful. We're very lucky. Anyway, I suppose we better get on with it.
On whatever, on with.
But that's just a stunning view, of course. The whole of Whiting Bay below us, Holy Isle, King's Cross. Can't see the mainland because it's a little bit misty over there. And grey skies. And we've had walkers going past us. So I think our challenge is going to be to overtake them pesky walkers. They're probably not going the same direction anyway. And usurp them. And be the fastest walkers in the hill. And rabbitless about otters. Right, off we go. Okay, Ian and I are at almost the top of the hill between Whiting Bay and High Kildonan now. Going over the forestry track, which is where we've gone. And we're almost at the same height as Holy Isle, not quite, I would say, nearly. Close. We're high up, we're looking down in the sea. It's a perfect view and a perfect day. We're so warm, we're not out of breath at all, are we? No, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. And so am I. But the sea's perfectly flat, calm. I can see the mainland now, the sun's out. The whole of Whiting Bay is down there, way below. We're actually looking down on that cloud over there.
If the sun shines on the righteous, then Whiting Bay is a very righteous place to be.
It is.
It's bright.
It looks amazing.
Wow.
You can see the whole of King's Cross poking out towards Holy Isle, and then back into Lamlash Bay and right round to Cloughlands. That's where we're going there, isn't it? And there's a bird of prey over there. It's a buzzard, isn't it? Just looking at a buzzard, just quite close. Backwards and forwards, circling there. Coming towards us now. Oh, I love these birds. I do. I don't know the names of all the different ones, but it's usually a buzzard when we're up here. It looks like it, doesn't it? Amazing. I only just noticed that. That's not why I've actually stopped. We've stopped because there's a bench here and a wonderful viewpoint. And the view couldn't be any better, really, could it? It's just amazing. So since we've stopped, I'll tell one more story before we get on. What I did at work 2 days ago. So I was in the car park loading all the cars on, and I came in for my lunch, and I'd seen, I like to dabble in property, and I'd seen a flat, an auction flat for sale on the internet, and came back from the car park, and it was going to run out in a few minutes, and it was on my screen, and you can bid on it like you can in eBay. And this flat, because it's gone on so fast, you don't have any home report or survey, you don't have any legal pack or nothing like that. So you don't know
everything that they tell you on Homes Under the Hammer not
precisely, right? Homes Under the Hammer, they got was it the golden rules or something like that?
They'll be having a dicky fit, they're having kittens.
Yeah, that's right. So I brought all the rules, and I'm looking at this flat, and I'm sitting with Catherine McBain, or Caitlin as I call her, and it says, there's 2 minutes to go, and I says, I don't even know how much to go here, how much I'm going to bid. You can put in your maximum bid. And I knew the guide price was about 33 for this little 1-bedroom flat. So there's like 1 minute to go now. She's like, you got to bid something, got to do something, right? Because it's just going to go off the screen, that's it, right? How long does it take for the bid to go in? I don't know, I've never done it, right? So I put 35 and just pressed go. And it said 35 is the highest bid, and it had been 30. a minute ago, like before I put it in.
Yeah.
So am I a 35 or someone else that has 35? I don't know the answer to that. And it didn't tell me. So then it said bidding closed, 35 was the highest bid. Now remember, that's my maximum bid. So someone else could have bid 30, they could have jumped up to that themselves and then I would have been out. So I didn't know if I even had it. And they said, if you've won it, we'll send you the bill for whatever, you know, the fees and stuff. And so I've just went back out and finished for lunch. I still didn't know, and I loaded the next boat and all that kind of stuff, and then came in.
35 grand and didn't know.
That's right. I didn't even know, and I've never been in it. I don't even know what flat it is because it's a big building and it had a whole bunch of flats. I don't know which one.
I spent 35 quid and I didn't know about it.
I've not been in it, and I don't even know which flat it was, and I've not seen any home report or nothing, and I don't even know if I've bought it.
You bought it, haven't you?
And I have bought it because then they sent me the bill. So, so at some point in my life, or maybe at no point in my life, I'll go and see what it is, and what it looks like, and what condition it's in. But that's my funny story. That was my lunch break at work the day before yesterday.
Namesake Martin Roberts would absolutely rip you to shreds for doing
They would, wouldn't they?
Yes. Dion Dublin.
Dion Dublin.
Would go mental.
There's Lucy as well.
Yeah. Lucy's left now. She's gone.
Lucy's left.
New lass, I don't know.
There's the guy that used to do the gardening programme. Old guy does it now as well. Dion Dublin. Yeah. Anyway, they have got another couple ones.
Then you got Dion. Then
Oh,
Lucy left in this.
There's a Scottish lassie that does it now.
I don't know what her name is.
No.
Shameful.
So that is shameful because she's done it for quite a long time.
Yeah, she has for now. Lucy Alexander used to do it.
Why
She's been left now.
I can't remember the person who does it now.
No.
That is rubbish, isn't it?
Martin Roberts still does it, doesn't he? Dion Dublin's still on it.
Yeah, and the lassie that's Scottish, and she's nice.
She's lovely.
And I can't remember her name.
She got a mental dress on the other day though.
Yeah.
Like a rah-rah skirt.
But we can't remember her name.
No, but I only ever see it now when I'm in the mess room.
But you do see it.
Yeah.
And I've seen her lots of times and I don't know the name. No. We are rubbish.
We are.
And I broke the hammer rules. At least you can't tell me off since we don't know who she is.
No. But I'll send her an email.
No,
I'll send her a letter. I said, I don't know what your name is, but please tell David off
to stop.
Flat.
Just go and no. Go and no. Go and just stop. No, I can't. I will not. I shouldn't.
I have.
I have. Okay, better walk. We're off. We're off. Right, here we are back where we started. High Kildonan. Ian's still alive. Little bear's not running out of energy in the slightest. Hundreds of energy. We had one squall going over the hill, didn't we? 3 or 4 minutes. It wasn't bad. It's just what we thought. We would maybe get the odd shower or something. But the weather was good. It's nice now. And it was a good walk. And you got up that hill easy, didn't you? No problem. We still survived it. So the next time we'll go out, we'll do something a bit longer, a bit more challenging. But that's how high we are still. So we never shaved that height back off. We came up more than this because we did it the hard way, going up the way instead of going down the way, or easier depending on how you see it. And we've got a view now of Pladda and Ailsa Craig and the sea. Amazing sea with the sun shining on it, all silvery light reflecting, and a field full of sheep in front of us. And we did a second ago have a little dash hunt that just appeared out of that field, which was a surprise. Tiny wee dash hunt. Stood out in the middle of the road, looked at us, and then went back into that field with the sheep. We're a little bit worried about that dog, but anyway, I've been in the field and no sign of it, so we're thinking the dog must belong to somebody in Kildonan maybe, and it's just been come up all the way up the hill itself. But it was a heck of a small. I mean, it was like half the size of a little bear, smaller, lower to the ground.
It didn't even bend to get under that gate.
It didn't even bend to get under that gate, which is only very low. So it was strange to see a dash hunt out on its own like that. You know, you'd think a buzzard would pick it off or something. You wouldn't let a dash hunt out like that, especially it shouldn't be on the road anyway. But I've been in the field, we've both looked up and down the road and we can't see it anywhere under bushes or nothing. So that was the only thing that happened there that was a bit surprising. Saying hello to a dash hunt. Fingers crossed it's alright and it's not living in there somewhere that we can't find, and it just belongs to someone that's got out the garden. But there we go. I'll put it on the community forum and see if somebody's lost a dog, and at least they'll know where it was sighted. But we can't see it now. But it looked healthy, fast.
Yeah.
Ran off fast enough.
No matter why it got up here and why
Why is it on its own? That's the thing, yeah. So
And there's no path for anyone to walk.
there's no path, it's just a field. It's an unusual one, that one. It really surprised both of us. But anyway, the walk was a success, there we go. So till next time, that's Ian and Dave the Rave and Little Bear, over and out.